I'll send you my
Nice.
tech support bill. No.
Yeah. The little red button. Don't eat the white mint, right?
Very cool.
Hey, how's it
So
going?
excellent. We're just going to wait a couple more minutes, I think, for Alexander. Maybe Daniel, you can ping him. See if he's.
Yep.
Oh, he's here. He's here. That's good. Alexander, we see connecting to audio. And Aaron, you're in California as well, right?
Hi, yes, everybody. Nice to see everyone. I got in on a late flight last night, so I'm going to stay off video for the time being, but happy to be here.
No worries, no worries. Are you going to make it to Dubai in a couple weeks, or you can find that maybe virtually?
I mean, I would definitely virtually, and you know, if
Cool.
I can't join virtually, then yeah, maybe we'll see if I can swing that. I would love to, obviously. So
Nice,
we'll
nice,
see.
nice. I'll be going in. I'll be speaking there on the 23rd and 24th. This is when we make the huge announcement and everything. So it'll be cool at the
Yeah.
WBS summit.
Very
Awesome.
exciting.
Yeah. All right. So we can get started. Alexander, how are you? Can you hear us? Okay. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
I was me.
Excellent. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to share my screen here, and hopefully we can cover in this orientation session. The intent here is to cover a lot of the aspects of what to expect and what's coming next, especially that the release is on the 16th. So what happens on the 16th is that the smart contract will go live, and from that moment onwards, we won't be able to make any changes. So it's extremely important that we get it right. As you notice, there's some new logo, there's a new website coming out. It's Earth64.com. And there will be a lot of content available for the community only, and other content available to the world. Of course, things that are available to the community will eventually make it to the world, but initially we start with the community. So it is extremely important for us that we start that way for many, many reasons. So let's give you a little bit of update here. So with the smart contract, initially when we started with this project, we said we're only going to have it on Ethereum. We then added Algorand. Those two are ready, tested, heavily tested, and hammered down, whatnot. We also have dApps on both, and Cardano coming next. Why Cardano? Well, it seems that we're getting a lot of love from Cardano, and it seems that there's a lot of projects that they want to be tied into the Cardano ecosystem as well. And we're agnostic. We're agnostic. We can work with everybody. So from the ecosystem update, one thing many of you were aware of, that something is called hypercycle.ai. And that's a project that I will be leading right after this project. When the button goes on the 16th, this is the leaderless community, functions all in a true DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, as true as it can be. In fact, Alexander and I, we talked to many, many lawyers, and the very, very smart ones, they assured us that you cannot register a DAO. The DAO runs on its own. We can register a lot of associations, a lot of organizations that they can work with the DAO, but the DAO on its own is going to function on its own. So what's a hypercycle.ai is a project that I will be leading that will be using a single bundle that many community members they have. I will not have any additional privileges. So this is extremely important because many people might think like, oh, what, Tufi, you're leaving us. No, I'm actually diving deep into the Earth64. I'm literally dog fooding. In tech, we use that term, dog fooding. You know, it's kind of like we eat our own dog food. And that project will be open source, the Hypercycle AI. So what is a Hypercycle AI? It's the AI marketplace that initially was attempted to be built with Singularity Net, Ben Gortzel, as you know, Ben Gortzel, one of the pioneers in artificial intelligence, started with Ethereum, and we all know the failure came because of Ethereum. Tried on on Cardano, and Cardano, it works a lot better than Ethereum, but it's still a single app or single AI engine would require pretty much all the Cardano force behind it. So this time around, the announcement came out, and if you check it out, hypercycle.ai, that it will be run on the Toda protocol. It will use a single bundle from Earth64. Now, I will be using Toda. Some people that they're using Earth64, they may not necessarily want to use Toda. They can use Central Bank of England, they can use Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever they want to use. In the ecosystem update, Cortex has been making phenomenal progress. I'm not sure if Leonard is here and Josh, they've been extremely busy. That's the very first project that in September we showcased it to the community. And they have a single bundle that they're also using, will be using. They have not used it. Again, we're launching on the 16th. And effectively, Cortex can enable folks to have self-publishing. It's a self-publishing tool. Okay, so imagine 2 billion people on the planet Earth. They need to be able to self-publish with irrefutable proofs that they have self-published certain thing without having anybody take down what they have published. Very powerful. At the same time, what do we mean by nobody can take it down? Because this is a very sensitive point here. Ledger-based blockchain can enable anybody to post things, and you cannot take it down. And it's available to everybody on the planet Earth. And even the ledger-based blockchain cannot take it down. And that can be dangerous. That can go both ways. That can go in a way that it's like, what if somebody published something that it's extremely bad for people and it's still going to be there? Instead, this is going to be that whoever is publishing on their own platform, they can make it available, but it is not sitting somewhere where it's forcing itself to the world to see. Acorn, I think, changed their name. I don't know if is TR here. What's their new name? TR?
Yeah, our new name is Avano. A-V-A-N-O.
N-O?
Yep.
Cool. Okay. So Acorn changed the name to Avano. Acorn is a marketplace for carbon credit. I may have not described it the way TR would describe it, but it's effectively, if you think of carbon credit, a lot of platforms recently they started doing something with carbon credit, and I challenge every single one of them that with the efficiency they're bringing to humanity, it doesn't make it's an oxymoron. It's like you want to have a carbon credit and put an NFT on ledger-based blockchain that costs more humanity than the actual credit itself. It's just like, it's mind-numbing. So here we have somebody who's extremely smart, K.R. Price, who won award from MIT for his image processing from the AI world, and coming in and would be using one of those bundles. We have Francine Farms Norway, that they're also in the ecosystem. They're more on the land side of things, but they seem to be making headways with Acorn and with Avano. TR, I think you and Francesca, you guys talked yesterday, you might have some folks that you might have some sort of like common JV or whatnot. But from Francine perspective, they've been doing really well. They have over $2 billion worth of land that have been committed to their ecosystem, and that's all interoperable with everybody that are doing things with the E64, which is fascinating. And of course, Transcendence Marketplace is something for anything that it has to do with land, whether it is an actual land that people, they want to partition their land, whether it is those metaverses, whether they are real or not, that they're metaverses, they deserve the right to be in some marketplace, and that phenomenal link, such as the inventory that comes in from Francine and farm-fed land and others.
And actually, we're adding real estate as well, tokenized real estate. It seems
cool.
like it.
Awesome. Yeah, and then there's the DNS with Jessica, who is building and still working on the DNS system that is it's more so like a platform for DNS, because when we say DNS, it could mean a lot of different layers. The platform for DNS, you can have any 8 characters that they would link into a SATO server from the actual Earth64, which means it becomes interoperable. And as you know, this is something of value. Only one project in the entire ecosystem. So we have about 362 bundles that have been sold, and only one of them is addressing the current NFT problem that exists in the world, which is great. I mean, we probably don't need more than one, but if there is more, that's okay. The problem with existing NFTs is that if you have an NFT on, let's say Ethereum, it's not necessarily unique to the world, it's just unique to Ethereum. So this one unifies all of them, and it makes them interoperable and so on and so forth. Last but not least, hardware integrations. This is not play on words, this is NFC, near field communication, company that they specialize. They're the same technology that sold to Samsung Pay. They're the same folks that they were behind the first mobile payment in the world and the NFC payments and so on and so forth. There's a joint venture that is being built with them in South Korea to manufacture those NFCs with the SATO servers embedded in them. That's a phenomenal thing to our ecosystem and to network lock-in. A hardware wallet were introduced by Olivier. Is Olivier here? Olivier? Anyway, I don't think so. Last minute invited him. Olivier is one of our guys in Switzerland who introduced us to somebody with the name Sébastien. And Sébastien has built this great hardware wallet that looks like it's basically like a credit card. So it enables people to get the credit card and to have anything that it's a crypto linked to it, but at the same time, it enables a tap and pay and all of these things. So they're not the same as the NFC guys. The NFC guys, they address the merchant. So they give the merchant a tag. Okay, so any merchant can start accepting payment from any mobile devices. So whether the payment's coming from traditional fiat or crypto or whatnot, what they want to do, they want to enable US dollars to behave as crypto, which is amazing. And their first city is New York City. And these guys, they basically built a payment system for the Navy in the past. So a lot of credible folks that they're joining the ecosystem. And we're excited to see them coming along. And this is just like the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of projects that Aman mentioned, some ideas that he'd want to implement, and same as many other folks. If I forgot anybody, please chime in. On the DAO, as I have said earlier, you cannot register a DAO, but you can have a Swiss association to manage certain aspects of the DAO. We will have this ready soon, hopefully in the next few weeks.
Hey, Tufi, just a humorous comment on the DAO. I was recently in a conference, and there was a lawyer and 2 people who are on the forefront of leading 2 different DAOs. And the discussion went on, and they eventually came to the conclusion that a DAO is not decentralized, is not autonomous, and they're not sure if it's an organization. So the name decentralized autonomous organization is very misleading to most of the DAOs that exist out there. And I give you a lot of credit for actually probably studying what would be the first real true DAO that actually is decentralized. It is autonomous. That works on its own. So
well, I wouldn't
yeah.
say the first is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a real DAO, and there is no company called Bitcoin. There's nobody owns Bitcoin, and it continues to operate.
Right.
So I feel like it's
one of the firsts. Sorry.
It's good to kind of
unless you're behind Bitcoin, that would still be you're the first one to get into that.
Would be, you know, having basically an association that can manage certain aspects of the DAO, and the entities in US and Canada, UAE, and other places, they can continue work with the DAO. Sometimes they're providing certain licensing to the DAO. Sometimes they're providing certain help, marketing, whatnot. We're talking with PR agency next Monday that Aman is introducing into the ecosystem. And if they want to do certain work, then whatever that work they need to get paid, and they need to pay people or whatnot. So there's a lot of ways of how you can work with the DAO. The one thing that we've done is that this DAO on daily basis, that this DAO owns all the smart contracts. And the smart contracts on daily basis, as of the 16th, they start minting those NFTs. That the first 362 of them, they were pre-purchased by the community. It might be 370, by the way. There's a lot of progress happening. So we know the first 362 days we're going to be sold out, which is great. That's us, the community. The rest of the world, they don't know that. They might think it's like, oh, hey, there's another project. It may not get somewhere. So all the effort that we do over the year is to extend that beyond the 362 days. So with that, when we finalize the actual Swiss association, or whatever it turns out that it's going to be, it can then get us to the point where we can have investment opportunities. Up until now, we have received 0 investments into this project. It's been literally just self-funded until we started selling those bundles and whatnot. So it's just basically it's revenue driven and not investment driven. But the investment opportunity can be huge to folks, because the way we're thinking about it is that, let's imagine there's 1,000 wallets that own the DAO, okay, hypothetically. And let's say you're an investor who want to collect 10% of the revenue from daily basis, and you go and buy 100 wallets. I'm oversimplifying. This is not how it works. You provide the public address of your wallet into a smart contract that is immutable and irrefutable. We can't change it. So once it goes in, then all the revenue that comes in from the DAO goes in to you. So that's exciting. Now the investor may elect that they want to give this money to a Swiss association to do some work. They might elect that they want to give it to a PR agency. They might elect to whatever it is. It's helping this ecosystem. Otherwise, why would we want the DAO to take give a portion for, let's say, $10 million? Meanwhile, we know it's going to collect $1 billion. So it wouldn't make sense unless it has a reason that spending, let's say, the $10 million now can increase the chances of success of the DAO, and it can increase the level of success. That's where a Swiss association came into play. And then, you know, if folks, they're part of this association, then they can help make that happen. So while this is being structured, it might very well be in Switzerland. And as I'm speaking of the devil here, Olivier just I think just joined us. Is that Olivier? Did you just come in? Did I see your name?
Hi everybody, sorry.
It's okay, Olivier. when we provide the investment opportunities, we will circulate to all the community members. So that way, if folks would want to introduce investors, or they want to come in themselves, we would certainly have those discussions and see how it would go. The resources for community members, we will have the website on the 16th, so which is already it's coming nicely together. As you notice, a new logo, all of these things. So there's the facade for the public will have you know, just a very nice facade saying like welcome whatnot, is community driven data structure and whatnot. But then folks, if they join the community, then they'll be able to have a login. Once they log in, they'll be able to see, for example, all of those videos. They'll be able to see a lot of the documents as they're being built. They will be able to see a lot of the software by community members. You know, like let's say TR Price wants to have some beta testers, wants to test his a product, and he put it out there. There's a product that is called Tilling, for example. People, they can download the Tilling, can run it on their own machine, and can provide services for the community. There's another product that it's a directory / explorer that a developer with the name Jessica is working on as well. So it's exciting to see all of those things. Now, when it comes to the technical guide would be there, and along with this evolution, the white paper, which I would like to spend some time on this call to go through it, to make sure that we've covered it. And I'm going to share my other screen to go through the white paper. Although we shared it with everyone, it's important if I go through it and people can ask questions, because any misunderstanding of that white paper is probably this is the time to address it. This white paper is evolving, as you notice, is version 0.1.4. Okay, it's got a lot of room to evolve. However, it has pretty much all the content that where we are as a project. What does it? What does the solution do? What does the proof look like today? And then why did we choose the distribution of bundles the way we did? The difference between the NFT that people own on Ethereum today or Cardano versus what the solution is to solve this NFT, which is great, because when if you were to use any dApp or any wallet to manage those NFTs, you will be able to relate of how much suffering you will have to be dealing with, and then you would wish that there's a solution that can solve that, which is actually this bundle is part of that solution. So it's kind of cool. And it talks about the product sale, it talks about like what we would introduce to investors and how it would work for investors, because currently we have not introduced any investors. And then we have some terms and we've used, such as like Earth64. Why did we come up with that name, and what does it mean to the ecosystem? What's status server? All of these things. This, along with a lot of blog posts, will be available on the website for the community members, and you'll be able to browse them, see them. They will be able to collaborate with each other, whatnot, to be able to put on something, and then some other community member will pick it up. And of course, I'm extremely excited about the EXO that we've mentioned last time in the community meeting. They have a community of 17,000 members. Kent, did I get that right? Are you guys 17,000? Is Tudor still here?
Yeah, we're just about 17,300 today. It's grown a bit more. So, and we're right at the precipice of the creation of the DAO that we've been working on for a few years. We already operate like a DAO, but we're formalizing the structure of the DAO. So we're also living that quite a bit. Have talked to a lot of attorneys. Anyways, we can compare notes sometime if you wish.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to also introduce you to Olivier, who's just joined the call here. And
awesome.
yeah, and if you'd admit Olivier to your community members, and it would be 17,301.
Very happy to do so.
There you
Whoever
go.
needs, whoever needs a structure on that, just LinkedIn me. I don't know who's talking, but LinkedIn me and try to help as much as I can. If it's based in Switzerland, obviously.
Yeah. Olivier is obviously is in China because he keeps talking about Switzerland. Just kidding. He's in Geneva. Cool. So that's before we jump in here. Any questions that anybody would like to ask, and then I'm going to show you some of the DApp and what is a DApp. It's a decentralized app. What are the what it can do, and it's described here in this white paper. Effectively, when you have the bundle, it's represented in this NFT, which is
maybe on my side, Tufi. On my side, as regards the creation of the association, governing body of the DAO for anyone to know, we need startup members, and we need some kind of from a status point of view, organs, physical individuals acting on some particular functions, such as president, vice president, treasurer, secretary. Exactly in the same way that Libra Association was done with David Marcus and two other guys. I forgot the names, Vincent Perez and another guy. So we need those names which are quite functional, and we need beginning original members from the startup before. And if you tell everybody as regards this kind of one wallet, one vote, 1,000 wallets.
Yeah. Before you actually join, I was like covering that, so it will be in the recording. You'll see it, and I'll share that recording. When it comes
Tufi,
to,
is there I'm sorry, Tufi, is there a link to this document in its current form, or do we need to wait until it publishes? I haven't seen this.
it will be available right after the 16th, but I'll send it to you now after this call if you like.
I would love to read it. Thank you, Tufi.
Yeah. It's this one. It's basically
We're
describes.
still editing it a little bit, mainly for formatting and some other issues.
Right.
No worries.
And in the same time, there's the tech document coming on the 16th. There's the guide coming on the 16th, and all of those things. So when it comes to here, it talks about the difference between when you hold an NFT on Ethereum or let's say Cardano or Algorand. That NFT represents that software license, and it's extremely important to distinguish between what this NFT management system that folks they want to build, they may use this data structure. It's we call it like the NFT management system, because what we are providing is NFT containers and not NFTs. Big difference. Okay, so we're providing the enabler that people can. It's kind of like we have the bucket. What you put in the bucket, it's up to you. We're providing the envelope. What you put in the envelope, it's up to you. So now, when it comes to the software license, as opposed to providing the software license like old school software license where you receive the paper and whatnot, instead that software license, and we use software license because people, they know software license, but this could be like data structure license. So the data structure license that you hold, you have it in a single NFT. Okay, that NFT is either on Ethereum or Cardano or Algorand. What I will show you right after this is some of what can you do with it. Well, one thing you can do is burn it. Burn it to get access to the software license. So for example, let's say you have your developers ready to start building, then you burn it and you give it to the developers and start building on it. The other thing that you can do, transfer to another public key. And we're very specific here with that its enablement is available on the existing ledger-based blockchain. Okay. So we're not saying here, we're enabling a marketplace of resale and customers, whatnot. You have the ability to transfer it. If you want to transfer it for free, for a smile, for $1 billion, you do whatever. You have the ability to transfer it. It's you own this thing. You can do whatever you want to do with it. Now, since it represents 2 to the power 51, which is about 2.2 quadrillion software licenses, that's what this bundle basically. It can be split into 2, for example. So each one is like 1.1 quadrillion. So that way, maybe half of it you can give it to some developers, and the other half you can gift it to someone else or give it to the development team. You can split it furthermore and furthermore on the existing ledger-based blockchain. And as you do that, you will notice the suffering and the fees in order to do it. Like on Ethereum, it can cost you about $280 to do the very first split. Because what happens when you split, you have a number that gets burnt, and then 2 numbers they exist, and those 2 numbers effectively on a ledger-based blockchain, it's like editing 3 records, and that can be extremely costly. However, if you burn it and your developers, they split it, you can split it 51 levels at the cost of just the computers that you have. And this is, to put things in perspective, here's the punchline. This is extremely important, what I'm going to say next. If you were to, let's say, split it on Ethereum all the way through, the cost would be about 40 times all the wealth in the world, everything, all the entire money, everything, like including the money that you have in your pocket and the land, everything. 40 times all the money in the world, just if you split it on Ethereum, okay? If you do it on Cardano or Algorand, it would be about $400 trillion, okay? Yeah, it's a lot better than all the money in the world, but it's still $400 trillion, okay? Here, if you have a bundle that you bought for $200,000, this is it. There isn't anybody ever that's going to come in and charge us all computation that you run, and it's effectively it's about 8 or 9 orders of magnitude more efficient, and that's what we feel that is one of the elements that we're bringing by having that to the world. So we have 21 minutes. Any questions, please chime in. And as you're chiming in, I'm going to share screens and showing you the dApps.
One question that comes to mind is with the Swiss Association and wanting to be able to support startups, is there ability for DAOs that are part of Earth64's ecosystem to be registered or part of that Swiss Association?
100%. It's actually, we're building a very good question, and it's actually discussed that with Olivier and a few other people that we've talked to. So Olivier would be helping us from many different perspectives, wearing many different hats. He's not just providing, although he's a phenomenal attorney, he's also seems to be very deep in tech and other things. So there's some people that, like, for example, we might contract together, or Olivier, Alexander, and I, that they can actually do the work. We will do it in such a way, TR, that is replicatable, which means that if you want to adopt that same model, you can do it. And then Kent might do something else, and then you might learn from that as well. So it's phenomenal to approach things as a community, okay? You might introduce something new, TR, and then the rest of us would learn. The one thing that I feel that is super powerful here that we're bringing into the world is that for the last almost a year, we've been selling software licenses. And that model on its own is a great model for people to kind of adopt. Because if you were to find a way to distinguish between the actual product that you sell versus the investors that you will get after or before, whatever, it can help tremendously in whatever organization, association that you end up registering on this planet. So keeping things also separated between the DAO and associations is important. All of those things will come into play. Any other questions?
I have so many questions, but let's carry on.
Cool. All right. Happy to connect you with all of you after this, and we'll certainly cover a lot of stuff. So, so what I'm sharing with you here, this is this is how a DApp would look like. Okay, this is on testnet. This is not on mainnet, but effectively, the ability to manage. So this is like a bundle. Let's say this bundle is 1100. Okay, and this bundle was selected and was split into two, and its children, they were split into two. As you can notice here, there's this one and there's that one. In order to split those assets on existing ledger-based blockchain, like I said, Ethereum, it can cost you $280 to do just one single split. Cardano and Algorand, they're a lot cheaper, but some people, they might argue that the security is less. We don't care. They're only pointers to software license. So it doesn't really, the security is not being carried by existing ledger-based blockchain. It's not. You're not even dependent on Ethereum. If Ethereum disappears tomorrow and Cardano disappears tomorrow and you have that software license, it's not impacting any of the functionality. It's like as if it's burnt, because all you would use is your ability to sign that parent key. What does that mean? You have a number here and you're the only one who can sign it. This number, because you're the only one who can sign it, anywhere that it's available that you can sign it, people can see that. It cannot, if it cannot be changed, if that's the last thing, that's as if it's burnt. Okay. So here it's split into two on the Algorand blockchain. To do that, you have to opt into the asset. You have to have the app opt in. Then you have to deposit the asset into the app. Then you can split the asset. Okay, so of course there's some UX that people, they might imagine that they're easier for them to be done, but if you want to do it in the most secure way, simplifying sometimes can take some of that security away, because whoever is providing the simplification, you're dependent on that software, because that software might be tricky at some point. Right now, what we would do when we provide this DApp, we will have it signed and put in a way that people that it would either function the way it's supposed to, or it doesn't if it's if there's ever man-in-the-middle attack. What do we mean by man-in-the-middle attack? So you go here, dapp.satoserver.com. You see this DApp. A man-in-the-middle attack can actually have access to your internet, let's say, will let you think that you're going there, but you're not actually going there. They will be mimicking something that looks like this page, and then once you sign in and doing the split, and instead of doing the split, we'll make the functionality of this that it's actually transferring the asset to some other wallet. So so all of those will be provided in the tech guide. Furthermore, we've circulated with some of you some documentations of how to create like Ether wallet and Algo wallet, and this is basically like an extension to the browser. And again, this is not what we do in this project. Those are just the methods to view the software license that you have. It's so important, because sometimes people, they think it's like, oh, is this the app? You've built it, it's functioning. This is just to manage the assets that you have. The actual data structure that we've been selling is the Earth64 branches and the bundles. So for those that are listening for the very first time, it's effectively when somebody has a bundle, if they want to manage this bundle, this stuff that you see on the screen is what they can do. Today, if somebody wants to buy this bundle, you can go on Algorand blockchain, you can scan this, you can pay $95,000 and buy the next bundle. This price is likely to be about 99,000 by the end of today, because there's some people they're looking into buying some of them. What we know for sure on the 16th, this would be 192,000 to 199,000. Definitely more than 192,000. Why? Because that would be the list price that we've been aiming towards. Fascinating that in 1 year we started bundles at $2,000. We're about to $200,000 by the time we release. Okay, and this is all using a mathematical equation that looks every single day. If it sells for this price, the next day it's a little bit higher. So it was deterministic from the beginning. We did not know that we are going to get to this level at the very beginning. Alexander can recall, and Daniel and Marcos, and we were thinking that like, oh, we'd be lucky if we could get 100 of those bundles. And then we got to 230, and then we thought now we're about to get to 400. So thanks to all of you for all the help and how we were able to get here, and super excited to have you all. So any questions, comments?
Tiffany, I was just going to make a comment. As a lot of you heard yesterday or a couple of days ago, Dubai announced that they wanted to start regulating the digital asset marketplace. And one of the conversations, Tufi, you and I had, and with Alex as well, is there really is no way for a country to regulate digital assets. I mean, it's very, very difficult given how completely decentralized and anonymous digital assets are. I think the reality is Earth64's NFT management system is possibly the best solution that they have if they want to be able to regulate assets. So I think it's valuable from that perspective as well.
Cool, thanks, Aman. And then if they want to implement on Earth64 a solution like that, it will likely to be a service for a lot of projects and companies anywhere in the world that they may adopt it. And I think it's very well said. It's certainly what you're providing are tools for people to build things on it, whether they are governments or non-governments, whether they're centralized or decentralized. We provide the tools, and people, they can do whatever they want to do with it. We hope that they can do something that it's beneficial, add value to humanity. The one thing that lately I've been saying, and it seems to resonate with folks, that over the next 5 years, there are going to be $2 quadrillion of new wealth being created in the world. Some people might tell me, wait, it's not possible, maybe 6 years, maybe 7 years. But the fact remains that there's $2 quadrillion of new wealth that is being created. Do we want to be part of that as adding value, or do we want to be part of that as an extractors? And I choose the former, and so all of you. So I'm extremely delighted to have this community that we're working towards the former.
Maybe just a short reaction on Aman's comment, which I can only agree with, but from decentralized, you're right in the decentralized way, but even in decentralized protocols for DeFi, such as Uniswap, Zswap, Balancer, you name it, Aave, there is always a link of some people that can be found. And from a state point of view, you always, as a state, want to have some tax opportunity to tax some revenues that would escape the tax system. That's the only thing you have to be careful about. But within an ecosystem of an association through a decentralized DAO by name, as long as we don't have any financial activity from the association organization, we are fine. And as long also, and I say that for Tufi, as the creators of the smart contracts remain in a Satoshi way unknown or unidentifiable at some point, I think you would be safe if you make sure that you somehow are decentralized already in the way you conceive the smart contract before the creation of an association, just to avoid any danger on that. That's my expertise, to find the little thing that's not going to work and just in advance try to be as much decentralized as we can.
Thanks, Olivier. And I think what Aman is alluding to is not so much what we're doing in our setup. He's more talking about the thousands and thousands of projects out there that they are doing things that without or perhaps could benefit from some oversight or some attestations. And what the Dubai government is doing is providing that additional oversight or attestations that if people they partake in that. Now, what we provide is the technology for people to whether they want to build it in a decentralized way or decentralized, it's not up to us. It's kind of like if we make cars and people decide to drive the cars against people, that's illegal. You know, if they want to drive the cars to pick up people and protect people, that's what we hope, and that's all of the guides that we provide is how to use it to benefit others and not harm. We've always been technologists, always building tools, and that's what we remain on doing. We hope that people they partake in value creation and not extraction, and that's what I think folks like in Switzerland and Dubai and other places in the world, that they're a little bit ahead of the curve. Like if you were to name 5 different nations that they're probably on top of the or ahead of the others, certainly Switzerland and the UAE, they come in that 5, maybe top 10 if some folks want to debate, but it's they're certainly up there. And I feel like South Korea is there as well for many different reasons, not necessarily the same reasons as Switzerland, but different reasons. So any case, any other questions? Oh, I see Andy here. Andy joined finally. How are you, Andy?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Tawfiq. Yes, apologies for being late.
Excellent, excellent. Cool. Tudor, we haven't heard your voice.
You know, when the role that we're going to play is, as some of these are actually implemented, we're going to build a micro course, is the plan inside our community, and explain, hey, this is block space and we have a ton of it. Let's start doing things with it. But it's at the stage where I don't think it's worth teaching them the complexity until we're all on Toda. So I am very curious on hypercycles. What do you think is the readiness level to skip any more fractioning on Algorand, let's say, and just start moving towards, you know, sort of Toda nodes? Where is that? What do you feel? Right. Because simplifying what's possible is the very first step where we start getting involved. We have an army, but right. we know how to use it in a certain way, and we can't get them to sound confusing in any way because they have an even right. less technical army that they pitch to, which are the check writers and corporations and governments.
Right. So the for folks to understand the data structure, it seems to be the low-hanging fruit, and people, when they understand something, they're able to adopt it. The reason why we did it agnostic, I mean, I am the author of Toda IP, so certainly I'm going to be biased and say that if you want to implement something, do it on Toda IP. And in fact, my implementation using one of those bundles with a hypercycle will all be Toda IP. It's been announced, and it will be all open source, and a lot of cool stuff will come out of that. But you know, telling folks that they're already so plugged into the ledger-based blockchain, there's a lot of unlearn to relearn. And the problem with that, it's kind of like any innovation, any disruption. Like Ben Gortzel, who you know very well, Tudor, his words, not mine. And if he's on a call here, he can join when he was talking a few days ago. And I think if Jackson is here, he can reiterate. It's like he's basically, from his perspective, he tried on Ethereum and didn't, and Cardano didn't, and he's like, and when I stumbled upon the Toda thing, it's like these Sufi, and then they went to the future, grabbed something, came back. So that's his words. Okay, so I don't want to brag about my own thing, but I want to provide something with Earth64 that is agnostic, because if it's not agnostic, it's not going to get the same adoption, because people, whether they have the incentive to get you on their ledger-based blockchain because that's all they understand, they truly mean it, that's what they think is best. That's what they're not necessarily malicious. Now, of course, there's the malicious one that they want you to substitute the current bank with their ledger-based blockchain, and they already know that there are some better ways of doing it, but they don't want you because they just want to shift the focus from, like, JP Morgan to some other ledger-based blockchain, and that's reality, and then we deal with this reality all the time. But with Earth64, I feel like if we want to do the best for Earth64, we can keep it as agnostic as possible, because immediately, Tudor, here's what you can do. Some applications you can run immediately on Earth64, such as NTT, for example. What's NTT? Non-tradable token, non-transferable token. Instantaneously, you can run it on Earth64 and reduce that cost from any existing ledger-based blockchain. What's NTT? It's basically like if you have like your things that belong to you, like for example, you have certain certificate in something, you have certain diploma, you have certain expertise, you have whatever. And this is a thing of value, but it's to you. It's not something that you want to transfer to the world. There's other things when it comes to the NFT minting alone, what I was expressing earlier. If you want to mint large sum of NFTs because they're representing loyalty points, for example, it's not possible on any of the existing ledger-based blockchains, just the minting alone. And that can be done today on Earth64. People, they're using it to do the minting because they plan that one day they're going to make it to become a currency, or make it to become exchangeable globally, or enable their users to have the transferability. It's something that they can provide to their customers, to their users, without having the management going forward. Like imagine you get a loyalty point from Walmart, but it's yours and Walmart can no longer take it away from you, and you can take it and exchange it with the Toyota loyalty point, okay? Or a Ferrari if you don't like Toyota, I mean, whatever. Imagine that, somebody who's been gaining a lot of loyalty points because they've been buying a lot of Ferraris, and they'll be able to exchange that with the loyalty point. That's something that they're building today to have those exchangeability. And the exchange itself, when you do it, if you want to do it on Algorand, it's possible today. If you want to build it on Toda, of course, I'm happy to facilitate, and I'm doing it myself with the hypercycle. So hope that answers your question.
And the decentralization, because I mean, like I think we've mentioned privately, we just need to complete the last part of the nodes being decentralized, because all of the block space, we're done. It sells. It's perfect. Everybody gets it.
Right.
And now we just have to show them the implementation where they're also getting that node diversification. And that's, and if you're saying that Toda is ready, then yeah, we're going to be adopting and sort of build a course around both Earth64 and deploying on Toda.
No, that would be great. I mean, if folks, they want to deploy on Toda, what I'm saying is that it's I'm keeping the two separated because I want the actual success of Earth64 to provide that as an added service to everybody, including Central Bank of England. It's a tool. People can use it for however they want to use it. It's the metaphor we've used in the past. It's kind of like we built tires. Toda is a Ferrari, for example, but the tires, you can use them for Toyota. Or I'm using a lot of Ferrari today. Maybe I feel like going for a ride. Anyway, but I think you know what I mean. Like we built great tires, phenomenal tires. People, they can use them ideally on a vehicle that runs. Thanks, Kent. Thanks, everyone. I think this hour is over. I'll share it with everybody. If everybody is not okay to be shared, please message me privately, and I will not share it. But those are 3 sessions they will follow, and they will be shared with all the community members. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thanks.
Exciting. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.